Hi guys, my name is Emma. I'm 21 years old. I live in LA. I'm single. What? Can you imagine? Hello lovely people, my name is Emma, and none of that was true. Except that my name is Emma. I've immediately gotten overexcited. Calm down. Have a sip of coffee. That'll help you calm down. Good job, Emma. I do not live in Los Angeles or even the US of A. I am not 21, although somebody did come to my front door the other day and say, "Hi, I'm guessing this is your parents' house?" My mum was right there because she was staying with me at the time, so that didn't help. My identity has been nicked. It has been pilfered. Half-inched. I can't think of any other British slang for stolen. A lovely chap recently approached me on a social media site on Messenger saying, "Hey, I just swiped you on this dating app Bumble and I thought I'd reach out." Now, as a quick aside, I've talked about this a little bit before with regards to dating. I personally think that if somebody hasn't matched with you on a dating site, you shouldn't reach out to them elsewhere, because there's a chance that will be nice and work out. There's also quite a high chance that it will be awkward and somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. I just personally wouldn't do it. But this person was perfectly nice and reasonable. Obviously, I had to be like, I'm not in the USA. I'm not single. And as a result of that, and also just hopefully having my memory intact, I shouldn't have any active accounts on any dating sites. And I asked him to send over any information he had so that I could contact Bumble, because what the fuck? Catfish moment. And the guy was very lovely. He sent me some screenshots. I was able to forward that to Bumble, who were also very lovely and helpful. I assume they have sorted it out. It sounds like they have. I'm not gonna make an American dating profile just to try and find myself to check. I'm not that self-obsessed. For a little bit, I thought I was going crazy because I think I might have used Bumble back in the day when I was dating. I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary with my partner. 4 years together, hooray! That's 4 years of not using dating apps. But the profile sounded so much like me, and they must have taken some quotes from things that I have written, because I'm sure I remember writing, like... Now, see, on dating apps, I was very extra. I always wrote a lot. I wanted people to know a lot about me, and I wanted to embrace my personal silliness and weirdness on my dating profiles. So the fact that this was very short, I think Bumble is a bit lower key in that way. I'm not entirely sure. But this was a very, very short, it was like a 1-sentence bio, which is a bit of a red flag for me because I know how to big myself up, all right? So I thought this was kind of weird. Now, there has been an influx lately of spam on, well, all platforms. I get them on Instagram, there's all these spam bots everywhere. Sometimes they're like hot, sexy women. Sometimes they're like men looking for a sugar baby. They're all like financial scams, basically, right? And they're rife everywhere. There's these Telegram ones on YouTube everywhere at the moment. I've seen them on other people's accounts, and they'll take like my profile picture, and their account will be called something like Emma Thorne, add me on Telegram, but it'll be in all those weird characters so that it doesn't get picked up by YouTube's spam filter. They're very sneaky, they're very evil, and they reply to loads of comments being like, "Oh, yeah, you should talk to me on Telegram," and then on Telegram they're like, "You have one, and MacBooks. Congratulations, please give all credit card details." So I'm familiar with having my identity nicked by fucking spam bots trying to scam people financially. So I thought maybe that's what this is. Maybe it's like a robot that swipes right on everyone and is like, "If you want sexy pics of me, send your credit card number to whatever." So that's a possibility. There's also the possibility that it is just someone. I think it's more likely that it's like a scam, because if one is catfishing, based on my experience of watching the MTV show and the original documentary. By the way, here's a fun fact, because I was obviously thinking about Catfish during this whole escapade. I used to watch a lot of Catfish. I loved the original documentary. Did you know that the directors of the original documentary, Ariel Schumann and Henry Joost, they made a Netflix movie in 2020 called Project Power, starring Jamie Foxx, and I worked on that as a VFX editor. It all comes full circle for old Emzy. Only person who has ever called me Emzy is my nan. So don't even try unless you're my nan. And then, hi nan, but I don't expect you to be my nan because I don't think she knows what a YouTube is. So here is this weird fake me, And what's interesting is that it says new here, which means it was clearly a new account. So I did kind of think I was going a bit crazy at first, but then I wouldn't have gotten like my own age and things like that wrong. I wouldn't have a new account because I definitely would have remembered if I'd just made an account. I wouldn't have set my own location to LA. You know, there's like a lot of reasons why it's clearly not me, but if you didn't know any better, or if you just thought I was like really cute and nice. They picked really cute pictures at least. That's something. Oh, and that's the other thing is the photos are all from within the last 4 years when I have been seeing and living with my partner. These photos are mostly from this house where we moved in together, so it'd be super awkward if it was me somehow. Look at this. The quickest way to my heart is through my ribs. That's the kind of shit I would say. I don't know if I would put that because it seems like kind of overdone, a bit overused, kind of a cliche joke. I feel like I could maybe do better than that. Here we go. Here's the about me. You see what I mean? It's very short, but I've definitely written this sentence. I can't say it, but I've definitely written it. High energy silliness. Jumping in and out of accents is so fucking weird. High energy. Maybe I should read it in my attempt at an American accent because I'm supposed to be in LA. High energy, wide and right at the back. High energy silliness with plenty of snark. Would an American say snark? I don't know if an American would say snark. British snark, maybe. And a solid dose of spooky things. My basics. Here's the fun challenge, okay? let me quickly count in my head and work out how many things here are wrong, and you can guess which ones are wrong. What is the magnifying glass? The don't know yet magnifying glass. What does that mean? I also have to look up what liberal means in America, because it means something different, I think. I think liberal means what I think it means. Okay, so the magnifying glass is what I'm looking for, aka I'm looking for a serious relationship versus something casual, whatever. Okay, so don't know yet. That's the sort of thing a scammer would put, so as not to put off anyone. Interesting. But it's so weird because they've picked, like we know I love horror. We know I love the theatre, darling. So, there's enough, it's maybe trying to suck in people who are like, is that Emma Thorne from YouTube? But I'm also, not well known enough for that to be. It's just very weird. The whole thing is very weird. While we're here, as a very quick aside on the topic of very weird, say hypothetically there were simp websites dedicated to simping. Their choice of word, hypothetically, not mine. Say these simp sites existed and you could request pictures and videos and even deepfakes of certain models and hypothetically say somebody requested nice pictures of a cute YouTuber with a nice rack that they enjoy. Hypothetically speaking, your request would show up on a Google search, and that person that you have requested pictures of may stumble upon it and find it slightly uncomfortable. Just hypothetically speaking. Okay, you got me, it's not hypothetical, this is a real thing that I found. To be honest, it was kind of a relief on a site that does offer deepfake and AI pornography to have a request that was fairly wholesome. Still, it's a little bit strange to come across. Maybe we'll talk about this whole concept and this specific site and the ethics of it another time. I did find they have some specific rules on deepfake that I thought were kind of it was interesting where they drew the line on when it is okay or not okay to make deepfake pornography of someone, because I personally kind of think never. If you're interested in exploring the ethics of online AI and deepfake pornography requests, let me know in the comments. Back to the matter at hand. Okay, so there are 6, I'm gonna say, based on me right now. If I was single and dating, there would be 6 things wrong in my basics section. So I'll just give you a second to pick 6. See what you can do. that long enough? Let's say that was long enough. So, first of all, 5 feet tall? I am okay, I'm small. I'm a small bean. I am below average height, and I mention that from time to time. I'm not that small. I'm 5'3". I'm about 5'3", I think, last time I checked. Almost never. I'm gonna disagree with that now. Back when I was dating, that would have been accurate. But if we're doing me now, because this is in the present day, I've been doing loads of stuff. I've been doing dance, a bit of parkour, although I'm currently going to do a dance class on... I'm about to start a dance class on the night that I used to do parkour, and they only do that class once a week, so I'm going to have a parkour break and replace it with dance. The point is, I've been exercising loads lately, okay? My mum came and saw my musical theatre showcase, and she was like, oh my god, you have muscles in your legs, what's going on? Okay, I'm getting better, okay? I'm getting better. Undergraduate degree, technically true, but I have a master's degree, actually. And in fact, you can just see that there are 2 degrees in the background of my videos. I guess I could have 2 undergraduate degrees, but I don't. I have a master's, and I would like that to be acknowledged, thank you. They're both in the arts, so they barely count anyway. I do drink rarely, that is true. I so rarely drink now that if I go out and have like a cider, that is more than enough to get me tipsy. I never smoke, that is accurate. I am indeed a woman. If you're not familiar with this symbol, don't worry about it, but no. Again, that's one that would have been accurate at the time that I was dating, but I'm such an old lady now. I don't drink, I don't really drink, I don't smoke, I like to have a cup of herbal tea and do a jigsaw puzzle in the evening. That's my life, okay? So this don't know yet is, what are you seeking? And I'm in a long-term relationship, so I guess I'm not seeking it because I'm in it, but whatever. Don't want kids. True. I like it when other people's children are cute. I like waving to a cute baby on the bus, and then they go away, and I don't have to deal with any of the stuff that comes with having a cute baby. Aries, no, I am a Gemini. Do with that information what you will. Liberal, I think, is accurate. I guess progressive is the best word to describe it. So if liberal does mean progressive, which I think it mostly does, then that's accurate. And I am an atheist. I also do enjoy art. Design is a little bit random, but I guess I design my YouTube banners and stuff. Sure, art design, theatre, takeout. Although we wouldn't call it takeout in the UK, we'd call it takeaway. But if I was living in LA, I guess I'd call it takeout. I love watching my horror movies with a delicious takeout. Isn't it just so weird? Isn't it so fucking strange? I don't know. The idea of an account pretending to be me is just, I find it just really icky. And I feel like, this is the weirdest thing, right? I feel like weirdly guilty. Obviously, I didn't do anything other than exist and post cute photos on the internet. But like, I just feel, it's a bit like the Telegram things. I feel like weirdly responsible. It's kind of easier with the Telegram ones because they comment on my YouTube, so I can usually see them and find them. But this is like more sinister. It's like hidden. I wouldn't know about this unless somebody reached out, because I'm not going to see people on dating sites in the USA, and nobody would probably notice this or report it or mention it unless they knew who I was, which, based on the size of my audience, is pretty fucking slim chances. But I feel, it's just kind of weird. I don't know how to describe exactly how I feel. I hope that makes some kind of sense. But yeah, I'm told by Bumble that this is sorted out. Hopefully that's that, and that sort of thing doesn't happen again. I don't know. Just online scams are just, I said this already, but they are just so rife at the moment. They are everywhere. And I hope that at least maybe part of the benefit of there being scams everywhere is that people will get better at identifying them. But again, this sort of thing, until you talk to them and then hopefully they make it really freaking obvious before you give them your credit card details or whatever, you wouldn't know. You'd just think this was some very petite 21-year-old woman in LA who likes horror movies and doesn't want kids. Like, it feels legitimate because it's using so much real information. And then the stuff that it's filling in is kind of inconsequential, like it doesn't matter if they get my height exactly right. Nobody's going to see that and be like, I know this person and she's 5'3", you know? It's sinister. It's really fucking sinister. And I just thought it was weird and I wanted to share it with you, so here we are. So yeah, if you're ever scrolling the dating apps and you happen upon somebody who looks exactly like me, it ain't me. Unless I have a doppelganger. If it's like different photos and a different name, but it happens to look a bit like me, then don't freak out. But I'm saying if they're using my photos and my name, it's not me. Before we go, I just want to let you know that it is nearly October. That's not what I wanted you to know, because you probably will already know that. Unless you're like me, in which case you're like, the time, where's the time? It's flying away, where's it going? It is nearly October. October is one of my favourite months because Halloween. My mum got me a tiny Halloween, like, advent calendar. Probably gonna go through that on my Emma Thorne Backstage channel, so subscribe over there if you want. This isn't what I wanted to mention. I need to get to the point before everybody clicks away. Listen, there is a convention in London called MCM. No, I don't know what it stands for. I assume the C is for comics. It's a comic, film, TV, nerd convention. That kind of typical thing. It's one of the big ones. I really love it. I go every year. I go basically every year, twice a year. And it's coming up next month. I am going to dress up in cosplay. My cosplay was picked by patrons, and I need to work on it and then put up some video content of me working on it on Patreon for those lovely people. I'm going to try and do a little meet and greet. I'm waiting to hear back from MCM creators to see if I can get a little table for a little, which will be weird because I know most of you are in America and won't be there. This is kind of why I'm letting you know. Either way, I'm going to try and do a little meetup, even if there's like 5 of us, just because last time in the summer I was at the convention and I got a couple of tweets. I got like a couple of tweets from people who were hoping to bump into me there and just we didn't happen to cross paths. So I thought if we have like a time and a place and I can put that on here so people know, then it'll be nice and easy. You can follow me on X. I'm still on there. I'm also on Blue Sky. And I'll keep you updated on here as well, obviously. But yes, keep an eye out if you are going to MCM this October, or if you're thinking about going, I will be there. I will 100% be there, and I'm very happy to say hi, take pictures, whatever. I might bring a couple of my signed little Star Trek postcards, or I don't know. I'll bring a couple of things with me just in case anybody wants a thing. I'm not popular enough for this to be non-awkward. I feel like if I end up with a table, I'm gonna be like the, you know, when there's like a celebrity that everyone feels sorry for because they don't have a line. It's gonna be like that. But you get slots for like a limited time. So if I had like a 90-minute period and we did like a 60-minute meetup, then at least people would know they can see me and they know exactly where to find me at this specific time. And the rest of the time I'll just be milling about like always. So yeah, if you are going to MCM, keep an eye out. I will keep you informed. If you're thinking about MCM, then I am going to be there, in case that helps. Or in case that makes you not want to go. What? I don't mind. I'm just keeping you informed, letting you know what your options are. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little bit of a weird one. I just couldn't not share this with you because it's so strange. Knowledge shared is knowledge halved, you know. Do consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on the next video. Give it a cheeky little like, leave your thoughts down below. Most importantly, have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.